Hello, everybody. Welcome to another 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon art stream. I was just in the middle of working on some stuff, but I think I'll take a break from this for now. I don't want to reveal all my stuff here for you. I just want to kind of draw some more and share with you guys uh, some thoughts. Um, and I do work on, my own projects and stuff, so that one is just gonna be for me. And if you're interested in picking up a piece, I do, the um, more intensive pieces, I should say, uh, on my own time between my classes and everything. So, anyways, that's one that I'm working on. It's kind of in the rough stages. But for today, I think I'm gonna work on just doing some character designs. So I've got this idea that I want to flesh out a little bit for a comic. I still gotta write some of it, but I will be putting out a web comic. I'm hoping sometime later this year. Um, at least a chapter I would like to have done by the end of the year. Um, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna work on this character design. And what I've got for this story is a Minotaur. I've actually got most of the story written already. So I'm going to just try and design a Minotaur. And I'm just not sure what direction to bring him in. So, like, I could do something like this. Give him kind of the bull horns. Give him kind of actually, yeah. Bring this shape to him. Give him those human legs, because again, Minotaur in the traditional mythology, they just have the head of a man, or well, there was only one Minotaur really on that Isle of Minos or whatever, and so I could give him that sort of a shape, right? And I think that would be okay um, to do that, but I could try and push it a little more, make him a little more monstrous, or else less monstrous would be interesting too. Because I could definitely take it in, a more kind of super deformed direction where the head is kind of like that. And I give him these big old eyes. Because, cows have big old eyes. And still probably give him that big strongman shape. Just, you know, with a littler body. That could be interesting, but I don't know that it fits the story. And when you're doing character uh, concepts, when you're coming up with designs, you have to draw the same thing like in so many different ways. So you see, I've already got two um, just basic shape kind of ideas for him already. But what if I were to take him in a more monstrous direction, and then I'd give him the big old ridgeback kind of a deal like a bull. And he'd have these big shoulders and a huge bull head. And I could probably even stand to do the horns differently. And this is part of concept that you gotta look at is how many different ways can I do this character, this one character, like the iterations that you have to go through. And I can give him some big old arms, and you can come up with so many different ideas. So even if you have something as simple as, okay, I want a minotaur, right? Like a classic Greco-Roman style minotaur that could mean a lot of different things. And then give him these big old hooves. Have him kind of squatting down. And of course, this drawing, when you're coming up with concepts, you don't necessarily have everything planned out all the way from beginning to end exactly the way you want it, um, or at least it's not necessarily representative of the final piece, because you go through lots of stages. And you even saw when I was doing the Symmetra one yesterday, which you can check out in my other video, that when I was doing her roughs, I did a rough pose, and then I adjusted some pieces, and I exaggerated some other pieces. So coming up with this idea of, okay, I want to do a minotaur, that could be a lot of things. Now, I do think I'm gonna kind of go in this direction, um, give it a slightly more realistic feel. I think give it better proportions, but he is a massive guy, right? Um, as monsters usually are. So I'm gonna try and take this idea, and of course you can't have like if you look at a cow's skull, they have different connections. So you gotta really take into account that their skull, they've got a big cow skull, right? But their spine attaches back here, where a human's attaches here. So when you're looking at this right here, this neck, it can't just come up underneath the cow face as well, or cow skull as well. So you've got to kind of attach the spine back here and then have it go back. I mean, you don't have to, because it's a cartoon character, and you can technically do whatever you want with it. But when you're going for something more realistic, you gotta think, of what makes sense for these connections. So anyway, he is gonna be a good bit taller than a human. So if I do a human, I'm gonna have him. Um, let's say that's average human size, because it looks about right. You got your torso there, your hips there, and then you got your head and neck, and that's gonna be like average. And well, knee is probably there, which means I could extend the calf a little bit more. So there, that's more average human, I think, probably. Um, Again, it's rough, so I could use more tweaking, but I definitely want the Minotaur to stand a lot taller than a human, want him to be like there, right? So then we're going to figure out, okay, what kind of proportions are we looking at for that? Let's zoom in a little bit here, and I am working in 300 DPI. If I'm doing like a full finished piece, I'd want to crank it up to 600. Like the piece in my thumbnail where you can see the unicorn man head. He's got I think I worked on him in 600 DPI, but it's just that has to do with how many pixels you have per inch. So anyways, the Minotaur, he's gonna tower above this guy, and he's just gonna do another standing pose, but he's gonna be, yeah, like that, and then he's gonna be, have similar proportions to a human. He's gonna have the rib cage and the hips and everything. That's gonna be similar, but then he's gonna stand a lot taller, a little wider. And we're going to bring him up like that. Now, at this point, I could give him, finish it up with, human legs again. And actually, I need to slide this whole guy up because the ground plane that I have drawn there isn't going to have room for his legs. Or I can, give him those, like, animal hoof style legs that you see on, like, Centaur. Or, not Centaur, Fawn, the goat people. So I'm gonna play around with this just a little bit, and in the meantime, I'm gonna put on some more
It's okay,
of
Kowalski.
that retro tube, or not retro tube, retune music, because I thought they were pretty good last time, and I may do more um, of their, or use more of their stuff, but we shall see. We shall see. Um, you gotta, the variety is the spice of life. That's loud in my ears. Okay, anyways, so that's gonna be on, and I'm just gonna draw. Alright, so I've already put some thought into this, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go this way. Give him, the human hands, but the cow feet and the cow head. Obviously, the human torso, right? Um, but I just wanted to put this out there and just leave it in the comments if you want. What kind of, like, in a world where monsters like this exist, and this is the world that is going to be told in my story. Um, what would you do if you met a minotaur like this? Um, and we're talking classic minotaur. You mostly classic minotaur, um, where it's the cursed offspring of a king. I mean, that's not all going to be in the story, but the they are a people who are, monstrous and huge and lumbering and very dangerous. Um, I love horror movies, and I love what um, monsters like this can tell us about just people, because that's ultimately what these monsters, uh, what monsters in literature often do is they talk about the human condition. And I don't mean to get too philosophical, but like vampires were uh, a they were about decadence and gluttony and human sexuality and things like that. Werewolves often were concerned with this sort of inner rage that you could or could not contain, and that was where the struggle lied in that kind of a story. Um, right? When so I thought, though, instead of taking this human Joe Schmo guy over here and putting him in a monstrous environment, putting him in that labyrinth, I thought, what would happen if we took the Minotaur out of the labyrinth, right? Um, or what if we, what would happen if you had things like harpies and, just brownies and just any kind of monster you can imagine? What kind of impact would that have on a modern society, right? Now, of course, thinking about at least thinking about how I think it would play out if we did discover monsters like nowadays, is people would try probably to hunt them down and kill them. Some people would try to protect them. It depends on how sentient they are, all that kind of stuff. But I think I probably put too much thought into stuff like that. But it is kind of fun to think about, the kind of what ifs and how comes and all of that. So anyway, got this got this guy, and he's gonna be. Well, you know what? We'll do both the characters today. Um, and again, I've already done some development on them, so this isn't really like new. I just wanted to do at the beginning. I just wanted to kind of sketch out those ideas, so that you could see a little bit of what goes through my head in the design process. Thought that could be useful to some people out there, but also um, just kind of fun and something to talk about. Speaking of designs, just wanted to throw out a reminder. Ooh, those calves are pretty big, but I'll fix that. Wanted to throw out a reminder that I am doing, on my last stream this month, I'll be doing style mashup, um, between two characters, and uh, what it'll be is it'll be one character, but then in the style of another thing. So if you wanted to see, like I did before earlier in the month, I did Ash from League of Legends, but kind of drew her in a little bit closer to Kim Possible style. You know, not perfect, but closer. You know, that kind of thing. Or you wanted to see, you know, Batman drawn in My Little Pony. Please don't vote for that, but no, you can vote for whatever you want, and I will do my best on that end of the month stream to do a quick drawing. Well, a competent drawing. I don't want it to be too quick. I want to do a good job on it. Um, and I'll go ahead and try to mash that up. Uh, I've already seen, you know, Batman, My Little Ponies, and I'm not. I don't know. Like, it's fine. I don't hate My Little Pony or anything, but I heard this said once, and that's fans are the worst part of anything. Um, and it's, you know, as a fan of some things, I can definitely see the validity in a statement like that because, you know, as a fan, like you talk to me about Kingdom Hearts, and I will talk your just day away about Kingdom Hearts, and my current problem with if you guys have seen the videos from Kingdom Hearts Kai back cover, you know that whole oh I don't want to spoil too much, but what's in the box? What's in the box? Um. Anyway, that's my current dilemma. But I could talk about that kind of stuff for days, you know. And I do. I do talk about it for days, and I talk about Overwatch for days, and I get into arguments. And, you know, as a fan of these things, I'm very passionate about them, and that causes a little bit of conflict sometimes. And it also can sometimes, you know, seem kind of unappealing from the outside. I knew some people who wouldn't touch Undertale because um, you know, and Undertale is a fantastic game, but they wouldn't go anywhere near it because uh, of the fans, just ruining everything for them. Because Undertale, if you haven't already played it, those who play it will know that it's a game that is best when experienced for oneself, you know, kind of by oneself and everything. Um, and it is because it does so much um, interacting with the player and and what we think, right, as a player. So it's really easy though to, you know, I've already feel like I've said too much. Um, you know, I don't want to ruin it for anybody else, but that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. You know, when you're a fan of something, you have a tendency to get very passionate about it, and you want to share it, and you want other people to like it. But then sometimes you also want them to share your ideas about it, and that, um, you know, in order to do that, not only do we get into spoiler territory, um, but you can also, you know, ruffle some feathers. Um, we're gonna give him a mouth because cows have mouths, people have mouths, and he does talk. He has some lines. Now this character, just to give you a little bit of information, he is not good at English because he's a Minotaur. Um, he does not speak English as his first language. He does speak English though. So there's that. And I'm gonna have to look at a cow skull real quick, well, a bull skull anyway, to try and find some of those landmarks. because that's when you're drawing a cartoon, you definitely want to have those landmarks. You want to have it be recognizable as, oh, okay, he drew a bull. And of course you have the horns, which are very prominent and a very, integral piece of being a bull, although they don't have horns all year long. Got these big old nostrils. They're a little closer together than I had done them before. And then it looks like basically just a big old nose ridge, as one does. That goes all the way up to the eyes. And cow eyes are huge. Or they feel huge. I mean, they're real big in comparison. Especially if you've seen cow eyes up close, then you know what I mean. They have the biggest, sweetest, gentlest eyes until you do something wrong, and then they'll mess you up. They are still animals. And let's give a little more shape to that. I don't know if I'm going to leave them black like that. That kind of makes them look a little dumber than I want. It's interesting that that is the case, because if you look at any kind of anthropomorphized creature, they tend to not have, the animal's eyes, or the animal's, some of the animals, they're missing some of the animal's features. I think Zootopia was interesting because it had both a sheep with actual sheep-looking eyes, which was the male sheep, had sheep-looking eyes, and then a female sheep character who had very human-looking eyes. And the male character with the sheep eyes didn't have very many speaking lines or anything like that. He did have some, but he was not considered, I feel, a very intelligent character. So I think that's kind of interesting, to be honest. Okay, so then the cow ears cow ears are big and floppy. Alright, I'm gonna put some more music on, and I'm just gonna draw this cow head. Because again, I could talk forever, but let's do some art. So I just want to address what you're seeing on screen real quick. um, what I did, I built the head, and I built the head kind of with an idea, knowing kind of what was gonna happen to it. Um, but then the neck was very, very off, and like I said, you have to attach the neck a little bit further back on a skull like this, unless you make significant changes to the skull. And you can do that, as an artist, you can definitely invent a human cow skull hybrid, as long as you understand how the structures work. Sometimes even if you don't. But I did want it to make sense, which means I had to take a look at how I built the neck, and it was way, way off, right? So what I did was I attached uh, the spine there, and then I kind of pulled it back, and then the spine comes this way. Now, on a side profile, what you're going to see because of that decision is you're going to see the cow's head, right? And then you're going to see the neck do sort of like that, right? And that's the spine coming up through here, and then that's going to go into, and so you're going to see the neck do that. And I also gave him these big old neck muscles because he's got a giant cow head, and he's got to be able to support that. And then, so his spine is actually longer than yours or mine, and actually it's going to come out probably down there before it arches, and then you're going to see the rib cage, and so on from there. So anyway, that's the thought behind that. And again, I gave him these, massively developed neck muscles to hold up his big old cow head and his big old cow horns, because he's got those. So then this is gonna come all the way out here, and this is like a bloated neck muscle, and I think it looks okay. I've definitely seen cows with the sort of like jowls, shall we say, into their necks, but their necks can be very, very strong, and in some cases they've got to be. But sometimes you get those jowls and stuff. But I wanted to kind of beef up his neck, so that he could carry his big old cow head. Now, since I'm doing these streams more often, I do want to try, and let me just pause that because it's breaking my concentration. I do want to try and keep to the schedule a little bit better, and I think I'm going to keep doing these more and more often as I have time. Absolutely do the Sunday and Saturday streams now, but then do some more as throughout the week as I have time. Kind of like I've been doing with my Overwatch streams. At first I wanted to do those just when, just on the weekends as well, but then it just kind of turned into whenever I have time, or whenever I'm playing Overwatch. and so the more I play Overwatch, the more I'm like, I might as well just stream it and see what happens. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll just stream whenever I draw. And, you can love it or hate it from there. Oh, here's an interesting thing. So, if you didn't know, and I didn't know for the longest time, it actually wasn't until last year, a little while ago last year, when I started doing pectoral muscles, and in different poses, right? And the muscle itself actually connects actually goes all the way up back here, right? So if I wanted to do like an arm over the shoulder, right, or like the raised arm like I had on that Symmetra, right? You have the raised arm, and then this muscle is here, right? It's not here, but that muscle is doing that. Even from a front view, you're gonna get some deformation, and you're gonna end up with you gotta have that shape to it because otherwise it doesn't look right. If I took this and I just gave it, what if I just do the flat superhero pectoral. This is way lower than it should be, and out of place. So, anyways, I didn't really I knew about it before, but I didn't really understand it before, um, or try to use it in my own work. So this is one of the earliest examples of me doing that, I guess, um, which I think it's been good for me. I've been doing a lot more, skeletal studies and stuff like that. I'm gonna go in. I have this layer underneath, and I'm gonna kind of build up the torso and the skeleton and stuff a little bit more, just so it makes more sense. But he does not look happy, does he? Let's put a smile on him. Well, he's not exactly a happy character, but he's not unhappy either. He's just kind of, well, actually, the story I have in mind for him is pretty unhappy, actually. Um, but that's okay. Hopefully, you'll be able to read about that soon, um, in the coming months. And yeah, it kind of looks like a smile. That's fine. Anyway, so we're just gonna crank on that music again, crank up that music again. Words are hard, and finish this up, and then I'll do my wrap up. Alright, guys, it is about time for me to start wrapping this up. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Retune, which is where I've been getting the music from for today. Go ahead and check out their YouTube channel, give them some love. Um, and again, wanted to give you a reminder that if you wanted to have a say for my end of the month um, style fusion thing that I have to come up with a better name for, um, you know, feel free to leave a comment here. As always, share, like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'll be doing more videos. But if you want to know about the videos, go ahead and do the subscribe. And I think they've got a little bell now, so you can get the notifications. I don't know when that started, but I've only noticed it recently. When I started doing these, I'm like, huh, I wonder what this bell does. Oh, notifications, neat. Anyways, so that's there. Um, I will be finishing up this piece in the future. And I think that's about all I have to say. I'll be streaming Overwatch later tonight, so tune in for that. And I will be doing, oh yeah, duh. So tomorrow is MLK, which first off means I have school off, but second, I want to do something for that as well. Do like a painting style for like maybe of Dr. Martin Luther King. I think that might be nice. So tune in tomorrow at 2 if you also have the day off and feel like watching me uh, probably uh, paint poorly a digital rendering of Dr. Martin Luther King. Anyway, thanks so much for dropping by, and I will catch you all later. Bye.